if students are on campus, then, my personal belief and, you know, uh, as a parent of a daughter who would also be on campus, that this is a safe place. I mean, as safe as possible would be, within our university, even in our athletic buildings and complexes. The safety precautions that have been put into place, I would feel good with the oversight of the medical oversight for students, student athletes, students in general. So I would, I would be, um, I would want the responsibility. I would want the responsibility of keeping our players safe and also educating them. Would not want to come off of, that, that guard tower of educating and keeping our players safe. So that would be the overview of that. I think now if it comes to a point in time where you say that we can't play, it's obvious, it's clear, then everybody would be reasonable and know that was the right thing to do. But COVID is part of our society. Wasn't caused by football or caused by sports, and there's no expert view right now that I'm aware of, or that are agreeing expert views that sports is going to make that worse. It's part of our society. We're going to have to deal with it. And these kids have to do the same thing. They've got to go to school. They've been training their whole lives for the opportunity to play their sport, and that is that's my view with the knowledge that we have and time to learn more about it. That it would be my responsibility, our responsibility, and the players' responsibility also. Keep themselves safe, and also get the schooling and the training that they need.
Can I just sneak a follow-up in real quick? What about moving football season to the spring in part to get more fans in the Big House and other venues? What's your opinion of that?
I share the same opinion as our players. I mean, they want to play. As I said, they've been training their whole lives for this and these opportunities, and put the question to them, which I have, and they would rather play than not play, and they would rather play in front of no fans than to not play.
All right, I think Dave is back on, but still having some audio issues. We're going to go to Ashley next.
Hey, Jim. I think it was in your ESPN interview that you did this spring. You talked about some questions you were getting from players, like about the season, when they would come back to campus, things like that. I'm just wondering, now that they are back on campus, what kinds of questions they've asked you, how those have changed, and then how they are doing with working out in a socially distanced kind of way.
Yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, I mean, originally, back in the spring, that was the big question: are we going to play? I'd say the biggest question I'm really getting from our players is how they can be part of the solution. The feedback, a lot of the feedback has been that their peers, other people in their age group are somewhat or very cavalier about the virus, and their how it affects that age group, and their response has been they want to be part of the solution. They want to be, a force for good, an example. When they're, when they're here, there's protocols that have been put into place. They've been terrific, been really great about following those. I mean, I think they really understand that, it's of great value to keep them their own personal health, but also, that of their teammates. And then they've taken it to the extra level of, when they're out in public, to have a mask, to wear a mask, to socially distance, to cooking their own food, to shopping, to everything that they're doing, to really be a great example and a force for good.
Okay, next is Stoney.
Yeah, Jim, how you doing? A little football question. We had Larry Foote and Brandon Graham on our show over the past 2 weeks, and they are very supportive of the program, love what things are doing. The one criticism they had is they were mystified that Michigan couldn't develop a quarterback yet. It's been 5 years. Is that a fair criticism? And when you look at what you have coming back, do you think that quarterback criticism would be alleviated?
So, we've had some, that if that is some way to demeaning the quarterbacks we've had, then no, I wouldn't agree with that. And I'm very excited, about the quarterbacks that are on the roster right now. Dylan McCaffrey, Joe Milton, Cade McNamara has been doing a lot of great things. And then some very good young quarterbacks. I see what kind of shape they're in. I see the drive that they have, which is very high, and they've been tremendous leaders, especially Dylan and Joe and Cade, through the off season where we didn't have spring ball, but through the virtual meetings, the virtual workouts, doing the right things. It's very important to them. The upcoming season, their training, and being good leaders on the team for the other guys as well. So very excited about their opportunity this year.
Thank you.
All right, Isaiah.
Hey, Jim. Thanks for doing this. I know there was a bit of concern coming into the voluntary workouts, at least all summer, about where guys were as far as conditioning was concerned, considering that they weren't able to work out in the facilities. What's been your estimation of the guys who since they returned to working out, and has anyone really kind of wowed you as far as coming in at kind of either tip-top shape or as if they haven't missed a beat, or even better than you expected?
Yeah, it's a lot of guys. I think there's been so many examples of guys that have shared things with me. There was tons. I mean, guy that stands out the most is RJ Moten, who's an incoming freshman. That was he must have a Fitbit watch or something, but he would text me his especially his bike riding workouts. He had a workout where he was riding with a trainer and a few other guys. I mean, one of the workouts was a 52 or 53 mile bike ride, 3,100 and some odd calories that he burned, and he was doing it a couple times a week. And when he finally did show up, and just looked great. Another example, is Donovan Jeter. Donovan probably played last year at 290, 295, and he's up to about 320, 325 this year. And, and reports that, he's moving better. He's moving faster, quicker, side to side and forwards. So that's, that stands out. And there's a lot of others. But, just I think their attitude, going into, it's been 120 days somewhat in that area, but and the thing we suggested and I think they bought into was Providence will favor the prepared, and being prepared, and even the question of will we have a season? Better to be prepared and not have the opportunity than to have the opportunity and not be prepared. And I think our guys have done a really good job, really tremendous job from what I've seen. We'll get involved as coaches on starting July 24th, where we're going to move to a 20-hour week, and walkthroughs will be incorporated. We'll be on the field with them and be able to really be around those workouts. And right now it's been more of there's safety oversight, of course, but to really get in there and start being around them every day. Meetings, walkthroughs, workouts starts July 24th.
All right, next question to Rainer.
Hey, Jim, with your contract set to expire following the 2021 season, has there been any progress towards an extension? And given the fact that the industry standard is to have an extension of 4 years out, why hasn't there been any kind of announcement towards that end thus far?
I think there's bigger fish to fry, for our athletic director, for our administration, for really getting me as a coach. I mean, it hasn't been on the top of the priority list, but I would expect something, that there would be an announcement at some time. When that, as you said, the rest, I'm under contract this year and next, and so we'll get to that. I'm sure, Rainer. We'll get to that when that's the top or more high on the priority list for everybody.
Our next question to Wojo.
Yeah, Jim, how are you?
Hey, Wojo.
Everything's good so far, I guess. Based on what you know now, do you expect there at least would be some alteration of the season, whether it starts later, whether it moves to the spring, whether all teams aren't playing? And are you fine with any scenario, even if, say, some teams aren't playing, or maybe just an all Big Ten schedule? Like, is any scenario, do you think, workable for you?
Yeah, we, you want to, the scenario where that they're playing is the one that, that you're hoping and praying for, because as I said, I mean, these youngsters have put in a lot of training, really their whole lives for these moments. But yeah, to your question, is that possible? Would support that? Yes. Those different scenarios, and I think our athletic directors, administration, Big Ten commissioner, coaches, we're all, have had those conversations and continue to have those conversations, and exactly what the schedule will be, what's the first game, when we're going to kick off, all those things. Hopefully, there's an announcement made, in the coming weeks, this month.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.